There was a few interesting things about scraping this site that I wanted to share with you and how I went about it, a slightly different method to my usual. Now, the first thing was that this is a US site, so we needed to use US IPs only. And the second was, although that there's a lot of information available for each of these products, obviously because they are cars, there's lots of data, it was actually very easy to extract, and I want to show you how I did that. So it's a kind of a combination of a few different methods that we're working with Scrapy, but inside a script using the crawler process rather than a project. So let's have a look at the site initially. So I've pulled up the trucks page, and the first thing I normally do is go to inspect network tab and see what's going on there, or I check out view source, and that's where I'm going to go first now. And there's a reason for that, and that's because I'm pretty confident that I was going to find this when I looked, and it is indeed correct. It is there. We have this schema for all of the information for these trucks, well, for the first part. So if I copy this one out, for example, and we put this into a JSON parser, we can see that this is, of course, valid JSON, and there's a lot of information here. The most important one being the vehicle URL, the URL to the page that the rest of that information is on. So let's go and have a look at that URL. I'm going to open it up here, and because I found a load of information in that view source, that's where I'm going to go straight away here. Now, obviously, there's no schema on this page, but what there is all the way down here, there's this load of JSON data here tucked away under this ID, the script ID tag here of next data. And this is relatively common and is one of the places I always look first when I'm trying to decide how I'm going to scrape a site. So I always check network tab, and then I check here. So we know that this is going to have a load of information in, probably more than we actually need. But if we go ahead and copy this all out and put this in our JSON parser, we'll see again valid JSON, and down here somewhere, if we look closely, we'll find that there is a vehicle details, and it has a load of information, like all these features beyond what you could even want to know for this vehicle, I suppose. But it's all there, and that's because, it's all on the site. It's got to be there. It's got to be given that. It's got to be put there somehow, and this is how it's done in this instance. So now we know how the site behaves. Let's go ahead and create a new project. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using, as I said, Scrapy, but we're not going to be using a Scrapy project. We're going to use the crawler process and make it a one-off script. Now, this is very similar to writing a standard spider, but there's a couple of differences. And the first one being that we need to add in any of the settings that we want to directly to our spider class. So I'm going to have this custom settings dictionary here. The first one is user agent is none, and that's because I'm using Scrapy Impersonate to give me a browser-like TLS fingerprint, which means I don't want to be sending a different user agent with the requests and, confusing it all. I want to use the one that comes with the curl CFFI, the impersonate request. The next is the download handlers, and this is telling Scrapy the spider that we want to use the Scrapy Impersonate handlers to do the downloading, which means we can have that meta dictionary, the meta information added to each request. And the third one is this twisted reactor. Make sure we're using the async IO one. I think this is default these days, but I'm going to leave this in because that's what the Scrapy Impersonate docs said to do. So now we've got that set up, we just need to write the rest of the spider as we would do normally. And this is where Scrapy becomes really powerful, because we have access to a load of methods that are already written that do exactly what we would want them to do, because this is a web scraping library. So we have start requests. What I chose to do here was to create a simple range to create the URLs to start with. This meant I could control how many pages we went through to start with when I was looking at pulling the data. And if we wanted to, expand it to every single page, we could also do that just by looking at the pagination. So I'm going to do 1 to 4. We're going to yield our Scrapy request out. And then this is going to have a few bits of extra information in. This is the URL, obviously, that's going to hold that page number. Don't filter is equal to true. I don't know if this is totally necessary, but I'm having it in there. But this is what we really need to look at. This is the meta dictionary that gets added along, which tells the request a little bit more information about what it needs to do. The first is the impersonate part, which is Firefox 135 in this instance. If you're using an impersonate library like this, I would recommend using Firefox more. I seem to be having a few more issues with Chrome of it being recognized and blocked a bit. I think Firefox gets through a little bit better, probably due to popularity. Either way, then we have our proxy, and obviously I pull all my proxies from my current environment, unless I'm using os.go environment, and US proxy because, that's stored on my machine as US IPs, which is what we want. Then we need to do some parsing. So we need to actually pull the information from the schema inside the script tags on this page, which is going to involve a different library called JSON LD extractor, which is from Extract, which I've got up here. This is another one by the same people that wrote Scrapy, and it just gives you a really easy way to pull the information from the schema where it's the JSON, LD plus JSON tag rather. It just makes your life much easier, so I just recommend using it. And we just pass it the text, and then we have all of those schemas stored in this data variable. So I want to go through and pull out the car URL for each one of those, which is where I'm just using some list comprehension in Python against the dictionary, the URL here in the data. Once I've got that, I can loop through those URLs and create a request for each one. And again, this is, fairly standard. This is just Scrapy 101, but we're going to give it the URL, and then we're going to basically do the same thing. We want the same meta here as we had before. Now, obviously, this is repeating ourselves, but if this was within a Scrapy project that was going to be something that was, probably going to be reused more often or expanded upon, we would do this slightly differently, because we want to reuse it. But in this case, this is just a simple script. We're going to be writing 50, 60 lines of code to pull as much data as we can. Now, with this one, we do want to have a different callback because we want to call back not to the parse function, but to a new parse function so we can get the car data out. Now I'm going to write that down here. All I'm doing is asking the HTML parser to find the script tag with the ID of next data and then get me the text for it. And that had all the vehicle details in. Then I'm just going to yield out as a new dictionary. This is the information that we're going to yield out, and you'll see that once we actually save that. But that leads us on to the next thing. We need to be able to run this Scrapy spider, and because we don't have a project, we can't just do Scrapy crawl. But that's where we're running it as a script. So we want to use the crawler process to do so. And this is just going to have a few settings in it and mainly about the feed exporting. And we want to basically tell it that we want to export to this file, which is JSON lines, which I think is generally better to use than JSON itself. It's easier to work with because everything is separate, and that's it. So once I've got that set up, all we need to do is just do process.crawl and process.start for our spider, and then this will run as a script. So we don't need to worry about a full project. So that's clear. So now if we run this, we're going to get our full Scrapy here. It looks like any other Scrapy project that's going on. We can see the data coming by, but we are just running it from that main Py script. It gives you extra flexibility when you'll want to, just write something small and quick to get some data rather than having a whole project. And as long as you include the settings that you need and whatever else, it works just fine. So let's have a look here. So we had 63 requests, 63 responses in 17.5 seconds. Again, asynchronous, given to us essentially for free. Brilliant. And we had 60 items scraped. So let's have a look at those. And we can see here there's loads and loads and loads of data. So this has all of this device stuff, which I didn't filter out, but we do have vehicle details here. So if I just look at this portion, we would probably want to chop this out really, but we can have all of this information, and there's even the VIN numbers and everything. So everything that is on that page that you could possibly want to see is down here, and it tells you everything about it. Okay, I definitely need to get a truck with a V8 Hemi 6.4 litre. I guess that would probably bankrupt us in the UK or in Europe, let alone not fit on our roads. Cool nonetheless. So you get the idea. And what I want to do next in an upcoming video is take this concept but actually expand it and make it run better and more often. We're going to look at scraping more data. If you want to see me do something like that now without waiting, which you would just subscribe for, by the way, you want to watch this video here next where I use Scrapy for a bigger project.